The college basketball experience. Summer coaches tour for the Old Dominion Monarchs head coach Mike Jones edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code TCESGPN to score up to $1,000 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. And welcome everybody into the college basketball experience summer coaches tour. I know we're getting closer to fall Labor Day on the horizon. Football season is here, which means basketball is right around the corner. Special guest on the show today, the new head coach of the Old Dominion Monarchs, right down the road from myself in Virginia Beach. Coach Mike Jones takes over the program, and when we talked about it, broke down the hires from this last coaching carousel, this is one I really liked. He played there. He knows the tradition there. This is a winning program year in and year out. And he's going to do a great job. And he's going to talk about the vision of his program, different stops, his days at DeMatha. And we'll get right to that here in a minute. But first off, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Cheers, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Monday. And, Mac tonight over here at the College Basketball Experience. We'll get right to it, but we got to pay the bills on the front side because over here at the College Basketball Experience, we're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy right there. Promo code TCESGPN. Claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000. Bonus in cash. It's football season. Underdog Fantasy. Promo code TCESGPN. All right, let's get right to it. The head coach of the Old Dominion Monarchs, head coach Mike Jones. And we continue our summer coaches tour on the college basketball experience with the head coach of the Old Dominion Monarchs, Coach Mike Jones. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing great, and welcome back home. You returned to your alma mater for your first season. Just talk about how crazy the first 4 months have been getting back to your alma mater.
Crazy just in the sense of busy, but it's been a blessing. Every day it feels like there's a list of tasks to get done, and we make sure we complete all of them before we get out of here for the day. But in the grand scheme of things, I think everybody's just excited for November to get here so we can actually put a product on the floor. So very excited, happy to be home, and can't wait to get going.
Absolutely. November is coming very quickly. So I do this with every coach. I always talk about their playing career or if they came from the manager ranks. You're easy because you played at where you're coaching, ODU, from 91 to 95. Just talk about your playing career. Obviously, we can sense it in your voice how special that place is. You're part of the team that beat Villanova in the NCAA tournament, but just your memories and also when you knew you wanted to get into the coaching industry.
So I'll answer that part first. I knew once I stopped playing that I wanted to coach. I knew that at a pretty young age. I just thought I'd be playing 15 years in the NBA first. Obviously, that didn't happen. I did play a little bit. I played. I signed as a free agent with the Indiana Pacers in fall of '95. Didn't make it. Played overseas. Came back, tried out again. Didn't make it. Went back overseas and had a good career playing in Europe. And then got into coaching. Got hurt my last season in Portugal. Came back, played a little bit in the IBA in North Dakota, went to Hong Kong that summer, and my injury just wasn't right. And we made a decision to, you know what, this isn't going to be something that's going to be prolonged. So got into coaching. So my 4 years here, and the one thing that I'm going to try to draw on as much as I possibly can with the rest of the staff is, you know, we were used to going to the postseason every year. 4 years here, 2 NCAA tournaments, 2 NITs. All but one of those postseason runs, we won a game, except for my freshman year. We lost to Kentucky in the first round of the tournament, the same Kentucky team that Christian Laettner beat on that shot in the Elite Eight. So, but I'm used to wearing an ODU jersey, being on the ODU sideline, and having success. So we're trying like hell to build that. That is what we know, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and I'm a Virginia guy, so I know ODU is a winning program, like you talked about. So I'm looking forward to seeing you get this thing back on track and in the right direction. But they always say you don't want to follow the legend. Well, you definitely followed the legend at DeMatha. You worked for Coach Wootten for a couple of years, and then you took over. Just talk about the 4 years that you worked for him, and then just the transition and leading that historic DeMatha program for almost 2 decades.
It was a blessing. Being able to play for Coach was a blessing in and of itself. Mm-hmm. He taught the game and the game of life so well, and they went together so well. I mean, he was a teacher at heart. I mean, he's a world history teacher, and he took very much a lot of pride in that. So him going into, you know, his court was his classroom, and him teaching us, me having the opportunity to play for him was unbelievable and affected me in so many different ways, not just basketball wise. And then having the privilege to be able to come back and coach with him. So, you know, being player coach, getting that dynamic, but then assistant coach to head coach, and literally soaking up just as much as I possibly could on a daily basis. I can just think back to so many dinners and meetings and things like that I would have that I literally would sit there for a couple of hours and not speak, just listen and just try to just soak up all the knowledge that he had, but then his communication with his friends, Red Auerbach and Coach Wootten would have lunch every Tuesday at a DC restaurant. Just being able to be around things like that was just unbelievable. So I could not have had a better mentor. And then right place, right time. When he retired, I had worked for him for 4 years, and me and a couple of other coaches, we were trusted with continuing a legacy that he had built so strongly. And it wasn't easy at first, but we kind of got our feet under us, and the rest is history, as they say.
Oh, absolutely. And you guys had so much success there in the WCAC, the best conference in America for high school basketball. So let me ask you, you were on the other side where everybody wanted to recruit your players because you were at DeMatha. So you guys had some dudes. Now you go to the other side, Virginia Tech, Maryland, before coming back home to ODU. Just talk about that kind of transition over to being in the ACC, the Big Ten for a couple years, and just being on the other side of it.
Yes, definitely different.
Yeah.
Guys that, would call you 2-3 times a day, and definitely call you, quite a few times during the week. And if they ever saw you out somewhere, it's like big hugs. And, when you have players, that's kind of the vibe. Like, you walk in the room and you got everybody's attention. When I went over to the college side, some of that changed for some. So it was interesting, I would say, to just watch how the dynamic between my relationship with some college coaches shifted immediately, and totally understandable. Now we're competing for the same players, so that vibe is different. But I have definitely embraced the relationships that I've had with people that I call true friends in the business that have helped me along the way. And I always wanted the opportunity to come back and be the head coach at ODU. And the last 3 seasons, my 2 at Virginia Tech and my 1 at Maryland, were all intentional and definitely preparing me for this. And I could not have had 2 better bosses to work for him, Mike Young and Kevin Williard, and learned so much from both of those coaches. And again, like I said, I'm just excited to be here and ready to get going.
Absolutely. And so take me back to that process. You get the job, I think, early April? I'm sure the process was late March. What was the process like once the job opened? I know Coach Jones stepped down in trying to get this job to come back to your alma mater.
So strangely enough, I got hired March 1st. So Old Dominion season was not over yet. Maryland season was not over yet. So it was unique from my understanding. Like, that doesn't happen. I remember we played on I'm going to say it was a Saturday or a Sunday at Rutgers. I think it was a Sunday. We played on Sunday at Rutgers. And literally, I had driven up because I had gone to the WCAC quarterfinals on Saturday night to recruit. So I'm recruiting there for Maryland. The bus, we practice, the bus goes up, and then I am going to the quarters. So I watch all 4 games, and then I get in my car and I drive up, meet the team, have pregame meal with them Saturday. Sunday, we go to the game. And then after the game, they get on the bus and I get in my car to drive back. And as soon as I sat in the driver's seat of my car, my phone starts blowing up with people telling me that there's rumors about Jeff Jones retiring. And like, it was kind of eerie because I wasn't on the bus. So I actually could answer the calls and actually have real conversations in the 3-hour ride back home. So I got a heads up the day before, and then obviously the press conference was the very next day, Monday. And some point in time on Monday, I got a call saying, hey, would you be interested in interviewing for the job? And of course I said yes. So my interview was Tuesday. We have a game at Maryland on Wednesday. I can't remember who we played, maybe Northwestern or somebody. I can't remember exactly who, but we're to play on Wednesday. I am preparing for Wednesday's game. I get a call from the search firm that's running the search asking for a second interview, like literally right after we left shoot around for our game Wednesday, coaching the game Wednesday night. And my follow-up Zoom interview was Thursday morning. And Thursday morning, after a lengthy conversation, I get offered the job. So I accepted, and I immediately start scrambling on, okay, like, how is this going to work? Press conference was Friday. So so if we go back, so the 29th is when of February, I get hired. The 29th and the 27th were the 2 days I interviewed. And the press conference is at 10:30 a.m., I think, on March 1st. So, and we had a game the next day for the University of Maryland. So I drove back, met with Coach Williard, and, thank God for him and his grace and his understanding the situation. Agreed to go ahead and let me go then. I did want to finish the season with Maryland because I did want to finish what I started with them. But it was mutually agreed that it would be best that I get going because I did have the advantage of a little bit of a head start on all the other coaches that would be starting their job. So I was very thankful for that.
That's great, especially to hear from Coach Williard. Coach, let me ask you this. You've like we've talked about, you've been on both sides of it. You coach high school, you're dealing with different personalities, a different dynamic. They're trying to get to the next level. I guess you could say the same thing with college to the NBA. How have you changed and evolved as a coach over the last 20 years?
So pretty cool. A couple of weeks ago, Jaron Grant, who played for me at DeMatha, got married and invited to his wedding. My wife and I went out to his wedding, and at his wedding, it was almost like a reunion. I had so many players that played for me that are still so close to this day. I'm so proud of that. But literally, the conversation kind of morphed into the coach I am now versus the coach I was when I coached them. And it was very humbling, but very interesting to hear their explanation of me through their careers at the Mathis. So I definitely think I'm a much better coach now. I think I understand relationships a lot better than I did early on. Even though Coach Wootten taught us not to do this, I was so locked into how are we going to win? How are we going to win? How are we going to win? That early in my career, I think I lost the purpose in being a basketball coach and working with young people. And through a lot of different things, my players being one of them, their families being a huge part of it, I was led back to what this is supposed to be about. And I think I have evolved into a coach that truly values genuine relationships with his players. And I surround myself with coaches that have that same vision. So I definitely think that's the biggest thing. I recognize that, being a faith-filled person that I am, those relationships are what the job is. Winning and losing, yes, you're going to be measured by that, understand it. But you have a better chance to win when you guys are all pulling in the same direction, no matter what.
No doubt. And Coach, let me ask you, you mentioned your staff. This is your inaugural staff at ODU. How did you go about hiring your staff? What were some of the things you valued in bringing in your inaugural staff?
Well, just to be clear, I've been thinking about this forever. So the people that I brought on are people that, first of all, I trust, and that is the most important thing. But people that I've been talking about doing this with whenever this opportunity came. Unfortunately, fortunately, however you want to look at it, I'd been having conversations with, probably a dozen people, knowing that I couldn't hire a dozen people. But so there's a couple people that I was looking forward to coaching with that it just didn't work out for them to be with me, at least not initially. So, but the guys that are here with me, I knew all of them for a good period of time before hiring, except for one. And that one is probably, I should not have been able to hire him. He was an associate head coach at a Division I school before we hired him. And he agreed to join our staff here as our operations person. And he's been wonderful. That's Matt Hamilton. And then everybody else on staff I had a prior relationship with. So I've surrounded myself with people that I can trust, people that share the same vision I have. And I guess most importantly, are extremely talented coaches.
Absolutely. And it's I'm sure your phone was ringing nonstop because everybody wants to be friends with the new head coach and wants a job. So kind of flashback to your DeMatha days a little bit. But Coach, I think you're the perfect guy to answer this. What makes the Old Dominion job a special job?
Oh, I definitely think I'm the perfect person to answer that because, in my career, again, it was always a goal to get this job, not just to be a college coach, not just to be a college head coach, not just to be a Division I college head coach, but I wanted to be the head coach at Old Dominion University. If you're going to talk about this job, at the top of the list is our fan base. We are in a community that loves us. Win, lose, or draw, they love us. Obviously, they love you a little bit more when you win. But we are, I believe the stat says we are the largest city in America without a professional franchise from the Big Four, whether that be, baseball, basketball, football, or hockey, I guess. We have a minor league hockey team here. We have a minor league baseball team here. But Old Dominion University is the team of Norfolk. And the community embraces us. So I think that is at the top of the list. We have a very passionate fan base. We've got incredible facilities. We're geographically located where we have access to a tremendous amount of talent. There's a great amount of talent here in the 757 area. We're, not too far from the state of North Carolina, the Hoop State. We're not too far from Richmond, Virginia, and, the middle of the state of Virginia where there's a ton of talent. And then, we're 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours and 15 minutes from D.C. So we have a very great geographical footprint that we get to recruit from. And then we have an administration that I have found to be incredibly easy to work for. That, again, we're all like-minded. We're all pulling in the same direction. If you just go through just the aspects of a job and what makes a job a good job, we have that. And then you throw into the fact that we are a proud tradition of winning here. We have won. We've experienced it. We've been to the tournament. May have been on rough times, recently, but this is a program that knows what that looks like. And then the fact that I wore that jersey and I bleed this place, that's just kind of the icing on the cake. So perfect job, and I'm so glad to be the head coach at ODU.
Absolutely, and I'm excited for you. One last question. You've taken a bunch of your time, and I appreciate it. I always just more so open-ended. Year one of the Mike Jones era back at ODU. What's your message for the Monarch fans coming into this season?
Well, first and foremost, have your rear ends in a seat on November 4th when we open up against Buffalo. Like that is going to be like a holiday. It's going to be Coach Halkovich at Buffalo. They're trying to build a program there. We're trying to build our program here. That will be our first measuring stick. We're not playing any exhibition games. So that will be the first time the public gets a chance to see Old Dominion men's basketball the way it is going to go for years to come. So that is the first message. And then secondly, stay with us. Come to that first game, scream your head off, will us to a victory, and then come back. We are going to put a product on the floor, and I've said this many times that our fan base can be proud of, that this university can be proud of. We're going to get this place rocking. We're going to have guys that are going to play professional basketball. That is who we're recruiting. But we're going to have great young men that come from great families that are going to be led by a group of people that truly live and breathe this thing. So show up November 4th and keep coming back is my message.
You got me fired up. I can't wait to get back to the 757 for a game this year. Coach, thank you for stopping by the college basketball experience. Really happy for you to be back at your alma mater. Best of luck in your first season, and definitely look forward to having you back on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Ryan.
Thanks, Coach. Head coach Mike Jones of the Old Dominion Monarchs back at home. It's going to do a great job there. He's won wherever he's been. Obviously, won at DeMatha, one of the most storied programs, high school programs in all the country. Worked for Coach Wootten, his mentor. And yeah, he's going to do a great job. He played there in the 90s. They won an NCAA tournament. He's used to winning there, and he's got a bunch of ODU guys with him ready to get this program back to where it belongs. And that's at the top of the Sun Belt. So right man for the right job, and looking forward to seeing him build this program up. And can't wait for November 4th, right around the corner when they open up with Buffalo. You heard them, ODU fans. Get your butts in those seats. So let's pay the bills on the way out, because over here at the College Basketball Experience, we're brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. You can get your models created left and right over there. College football's here. The Monarchs open up, I think, in Columbia. They're at South Carolina this weekend, so make sure you subscribe to the College Football Experience. And that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Back over here at the College Basketball Experience. I want to thank Coach Jones for taking the time. Thank you, ODU. I know I will be at a couple games, like I said, right down the road from Richmond, Virginia Beach area, Norfolk. Can't wait. They got the right man for the job, and they'll get this program back to where it belongs, like I said, at the top of the Sun Belt. So we continue our tour tomorrow and the rest of the week. Tomorrow I got to look at the schedule. Coach Nagy of the Southern Illinois Salukis. Wednesday, Coach Ritter, just taking the job over there at Mercer. Billy Taylor at Elon coming on later this week, and many more headed into the Labor Day weekend. Can't thank everybody enough. Make sure you are subscribed to all the channels over here at the College Experience. We all come together on youtube.com/the College Experience. College Football Experience. ODU fans, go check out that. We got your season preview over there. College Baseball Experience. ODU's got a good team over there as well. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed to all the channels. And that's all I got on a Monday night. November 4th is coming. This has been another edition of Mac Tonight, signing off over here at the College Basketball Experience. Can't wait for November 4th. Can't talk. And we are out of here.